Welcome to this explainer. Right now, I want you to just take a deep, settling breath. Close out all those other mental tabs you've got open, let go of the exam anxiety, and let's dial our focus level all the way up to 100%. Imagine a clean, aesthetically pleasing, dark mode digital tablet right in front of you. That's our headspace today. We are going to dive straight into a highly methodical, totally serene deconstruction of the examiner expectations for Cambridge AS and A-Level Arabic 9680. Specifically, we're focusing our lens on Section 2, Tuyur Aylul. We're going to take all those complex, intimidating syllabus requirements and calmly transform them into a clean, highly actionable structural blueprint. By the end of our time together, you're going to be able to tackle this text with complete, unshakable confidence. So settle in and let's get started.
Here's your focus map for today's session. We've got 5 clear milestones. First, the 15% focus. Then, decoding core principles. After that, we'll build your standardized procedural framework. Then we move into critical comparative analysis. And finally, we'll disarm and bypass those examiner traps.
Section 1. The 15% focus, understanding the stakes.
Let's start by grounding ourselves in exactly why this specific text demands our absolute, unwavering attention. This single section, Tuyur Aylul, represents approximately 15% of your total paper 2 marks. Think about that for a second. 15%. That makes it a massive, high-yield target for your preparation. In the exam hall, you literally cannot afford to spend unstructured, anxious time wandering through your responses, hoping you hit the right points. It drains your energy. But by dedicating deep, focused mastery to this exact 15% right now, you're establishing an unbreakable anchor for your overall grade. Securing these marks with absolute certainty is like unlocking a cheat code. It frees up immense cognitive bandwidth for you to tackle the rest of the paper with total serenity. You'll walk in knowing you already have this completely locked down.
Moving on to Section 2, decoding the core principles, the cognitive domains.
Okay, let's really peel back the layers here. Cambridge examiners absolutely do not care about frantic memorization. They are looking for you to demonstrate precise competence across 3 highly distinct cognitive domains: knowledge and understanding, analysis, and evaluation. Now, to picture how this works, imagine I'm working with 2 brilliant students. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Alex is incredibly analytical, highly precise, but tends to crowd the page with just an absolute avalanche of unstructured facts. That's getting stuck in the knowledge domain. Sam, on the other hand, is super creative and dynamic, but constantly loses focus on the specific parameters of the command words. To succeed, we need the perfect balance. You must calmly isolate the exact assessment objectives demanded by the command words. For example, you have to know the deep structural difference between analyze and evaluate. Analyze means breaking down the literary devices and themes in Tuyur Aylul to see exactly how they function. You're taking it apart piece by piece. But evaluate? That is a higher plane. That is where you judge the overall effectiveness of those devices. Building a calm, structural approach to your paragraph planning where you know exactly which domain you are addressing in every single sentence is exactly what protects you from running out of time and losing your focus.
And listen to this, because it's a proven, elegant strategy for reaching the absolute top tier of the mark scheme. The principal examiner reports explicitly state, and I quote, "Referencing cross-topic connections achieves significantly higher marks. The top-performing students, the ones hitting those A-stars, they exhibit a beautifully connected conceptual understanding. They bridge those 3 cognitive domains seamlessly, and they transfer their insights to unfamiliar contexts. Moving beyond simple recall to actually integrate your knowledge with other areas of the syllabus is huge. For instance, calmly comparing the thematic isolation found in Tuyur Aylul with another set text you studied. That right there, that is exactly how you elevate your analysis from good to elite."
Now, here's an explicit warning directly from the examiners. Candidates consistently lose marks because they confuse key terminology. Think about Alex again, frantically writing down every term they know without framing it. You must always clearly and precisely define your terminology before weaving it into your analysis. Never, ever assume the examiner knows what you mean by specific literary terms related to Arabic literature or the specific sociocultural context to Tuyur Aylul. Establish your definitions cleanly at the absolute outset of your extended response. By doing this, you prevent any possible confusion and you immediately signal to the examiner that they are reading the work of a highly disciplined, precise scholar. It sets the tone for your entire essay.
Section 3. The standardized procedural framework, the method mark strategy.
Like we talked about, frantic memorization won't save you when the clock is ticking, but a calm, standardized sequence absolutely will. We call this the method mark strategy.
You see, marks are literally awarded for the process itself, for your systematic analysis and the clear notation of your reasoning. By fully embracing this systematic strategy, you are guaranteeing yourself marks simply by displaying a clear, evidence-based reasoning process directly on the page. Think of it like a math problem. You are essentially making your invisible internal thought process completely visible, logical, and undeniable to the examiner, just in a literary context. It's beautiful when you get it right.
So let's look at exactly how we build this. This is a perfect 5-step sequence that you will calmly apply to every single complex stimulus you encounter. Step 1, deconstruct the question. Step 2, extract relevant data. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Step 4, execute with clear notation. And Step 5, verify and present. Let's imagine a prompt specifically asking you to evaluate how the setting isolates the characters in Tuyur Aylul. If you act like Alex and just list 10 quotes about the village, you're trapped at level 1. Instead, you extract relevant data, like one incredibly powerful quote highlighting the physical isolation of the village. Then you select your framework to structurally frame this single argument. You execute it with crystal clear notation, ensuring you link the sociocultural context directly back to the evaluative prompt. You don't panic, you just follow the 5 steps.
Let's pause for a moment, an intentional focus reboot. Before we write out our final top-band paragraph structure, let's make sure your daily study dashboard is complete. I want you to subscribe to Ace the Exams, that's at Ace the Exams, right now and enable all those notification alerts. Whether your target is an IGCSE, an O-level, or an ASNA level A-star, this channel is your weekly serene space for stress-free exam mastery. Okay, breathe. Let's get back to step 2 of that framework, because data interpretation is critical. Your interpretation skills have to focus on pulling precise relationships directly from the materials to draw your evidence-based conclusions. But let's say you're writing and suddenly you hit a structural roadblock mid-paragraph. Your evidence just drops out of alignment with your main point. It happens to Sam all the time. How do we fix it? You calmly restore balance by applying the Peel structure: point, evidence, explanation, link. You make your precise point about Tuyur Aylul, you extract the exact text as evidence, you explain the relationship, and crucially, you link it right back to the command word in the prompt. Following this formula creates a pristine, high-scoring block of text every single time without fail.
Section 4. Mastering Critical Comparative Analysis, the Evaluative Level.
Welcome to the practice arena. As we elevate into those higher-order assessment objectives, critical comparative analysis becomes your primary structural framework. Let's do a mindful scan. A major rule you have to lock in right now is that you must identify both similarities and differences, and you have to link them beautifully with strong comparative connectives. Imagine you're looking at a highly complex excerpt from Tuyur Aylul, and you have 60 seconds to extract a core trend regarding character motivation. You need to look for the similarities in how the characters react to societal pressure, right? But then you absolutely must look for the crucial differences in their ultimate choices, and you frame these using comparative connectives like conversely, whereas, or similarly. When you use those words, you are practically flashing a neon sign to the Cambridge examiners that says, "Look, I have that connected conceptual understanding you're hunting for."
Let's try another challenge. Let's look at an imperfect answer. Evaluating the quality of your evidence requires you to step back and systematically assess 4 things. You must identify limitations, identify assumptions made, note alternative interpretations, and assess their effect on your overall conclusions. So let's look at where structural discipline often breaks down. Imagine a student writes this: "The village in Tuyur Aylul represents tradition, so all characters hate it and want to leave, which means the author dislikes rural life." Okay, where did the structure collapse? Right at the assumption. The student entirely failed to identify limitations and alternative interpretations, because we know not all characters view the village uniformly, right? To fix this, you calmly evaluate. You write, "While the village represents a restrictive tradition for many younger characters, prompting a deep desire for emigration, one could alternately interpret the older generation's profound attachment as a symbol of enduring cultural roots, which heavily complicates the narrative stance on rural life." Do you hear the difference? That is a masterpiece. That is top-band evaluation.
Section 5. Bypassing principal examiner traps, retaining easy marks. I always say that the principal examiner reports act as a completely transparent cheat sheet of common pitfalls, so let's disarm them right now, one by one. Here are the top 3 mistakes that consistently rob otherwise brilliant students of incredibly easy marks in Arabic 9680, Section 2. Number 1, forgetting to include proper format. Number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation. Number 3, answers are not specific to the given context. Now look closely at these. These mistakes are purely procedural. They aren't a lack of knowledge, they are a failure of structure.
Ask yourself, when you write about Tuyur Aylul, is your answer just floating out there in a generic, vague void of literary theory? Or is it surgically attached to the highly specific cultural and temporal context of the novel? Do not let your beautiful, brilliant analysis be buried under a messy, unformatted presentation. Your final review pass must systematically verify your format and your context specificity.
Now, to ensure your terminology stays absolutely pristine when the pressure is on, I want you to build a quick, personalized mnemonic using the first letters of your key terms. Think of this as your cognitive safety net. When you walk into that exam hall and sit down, the very first thing I want you to do is write your personalized mnemonic right at the top of your planning page. If exam anxiety tries to creep in, and it happens to the best of us, your mnemonic is right there. It immediately grounds you back into the core terminology you defined during your calm, focused preparation. It completely locks the structural framework in place, meaning your mind is free to remain fluid, relaxed, and highly creative for the actual analytical heavy lifting.
We've reached the final polish. Breathe and execute. Look at what we've accomplished. We have successfully mapped the complex cognitive domains. We have firmly established our standardized procedural framework. And we have shined a bright light on the specific traps those examiners are waiting for. To distill this entire masterclass into 3 core focus pillars, remember this. First, the 3-step question scan. You deconstruct the prompt and isolate those command words. Second, the marks per minute flow formula. You use that 5-step procedural framework to maintain your timing and structural discipline. And third, the final polish review pass, systematically verifying your formatting, your presentation, and your context specificity to cleanly bypass every single examiner trap.
You now possess the exact minimalist architectural blueprint required to master Set Text 2025 Section 2 Tuyur Aylul. But before you go out there and flawlessly apply this blueprint, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to analyze. Ultimately, does the isolation depicted in Tuyur Aylul serve merely as a prison for its characters, or is it actually a necessary crucible for their development? Apply your new framework, evaluate that evidence for yourself, and let me know your thoughts. And hey, make sure you subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams, click that notification bell for all our future focused deployments, and leave a comment below telling me exactly which specific subject, tier, and target grade you are currently meditating on. Stay calm, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next session.